What's up, fam? How you doing? Hope everybody's doing good. Tuesday night, one day closer to Friday. Listen, I clipped a bunch of things together. Take a look at it. Cut some shorts up as well. Basically, if you listen to both of these individuals, one is a military member, sniper, Marine. The other one is in the medical field. All right? They both are saying completely different things when it comes to entry and exit wounds of Charlie Kirk and what had happened last week, and also just scenarios that are just implausible and impossible. But I want you to take a look at it and see what you think. Watch the whole video, watch some of the shorts I'm going to cut up, and, it's up to you to make up your own mind, but I call bullshit on what's going on. I don't trust the government, not one bit about anything. I've dealt with them enough times to know better. And the older you get, the more you learn. So listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Watch this video. I'm not taking credit for it. These are some other creators. And off the top of my head, I don't remember the names, but I'm sure that they mention themselves and you can figure out who they are. But obviously, it's not me. But I want you to listen to what they're both telling you and what they're saying, and then use the tool between your two shoulders right here and think about what they're saying and just use some common sense and logic and tell me if it makes sense. I want some comments. Leave me some comments and tell me what you think. It's your boy. Until the next upload. Peace. Yeah.
Like, subscribe. Also, please share this video out if you agree with me or if you disagree with me, to find any flaws that I have in this video. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. There's a couple of prereqs that I want to get through. First of all, I didn't want to make this video. I still don't want to make this video, but I think it's necessary, and I feel some type of duty to it. Two, because I am a Marine, scout sniper. I did that for 5 years. I taught ballistics classes. I know. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, at least a little bit. I'm not some rando out here. The FBI lies to us. I think everybody can agree on that. Given that, let's try to start this with no preconceived notion. Let's not presume anything. Let's not take them at their word on anything moving forward. Specifically, who the shooter is, where the shooter is, and anything from that angle. I would even go as far to say the round or the caliber of the round that the shooter was using. There's so many inconsistencies, but this video is not for that. And so we're going to get into this real quick. First of all, there's 9 camera angles. We're only going to use 4 of them, and then I'm going to wrap back around to number 1 at the end. So as we dive into this, let me show you where these camera angles are first. This is cam 1 over there to the left. Obviously, Charlie Kirk is in the centerpiece. Let me get a mouse over here. Charlie Kirk is in the center over here. Cam 1 is over here. Cam 2 is here. Cam 3 is here. Cam 4 is here. And we will refer back to those as we go. You can see the bullet before the frame before, right? So if we're looking right here, I don't know if you can see that on there. Zoom in. You could say, Zeb, that's just a fly flying by, or that's just a piece of dust specking up sunlight. And I could say, okay, that's fine. Let's take that. So here we have, this is a frame before it hits Charlie, right? One frame. This is one frame. Bing, bang, boom. This is a single frame. Bullet, Charlie. And you say, Zeb, how's that the bullet? He shot him from the rooftop straight in front of him. I said, well, let's come into this with no understanding of what the FBI told us. And so we're going to follow up with some more of this here in a second. That's camera 1. Obviously, there's that angle. We're going to go into camera 2. Camera 2 is a little bit brutal, but we're going to look at it from this angle right here. This is Alex Jones pulled this. Camera 2 and camera 3 have very, very similar angles, but they're a little bit different. And so We go into camera 2. We're right here. Let's go. Oops. Let's go frame by frame. Obviously, this would be the frame where you see the bullet. This would be the frame that hits. And some people said this is hitting body armor, right? If he was hitting from the front, this would be a body armor shot. It's some type of plate, it looks like, possibly catching a shockwave or whatever. It's not the case. I'm going to demonstrate that here in a second. I actually have the mic on that he's using and a headset that I'm going to demonstrate exactly what happened. And so as we go, this is an exit wound in the neck. An entry wound doesn't cause that immediately. It's more comfortable to have it wrap around and pinch into a mic than it is to have it drape straight down, because it doesn't pull on you, right? It's loose up here. It's loose, right? I have my mic and it wraps around the back of my head, and it comes here and it comes across, and I'll demonstrate I'll show you exactly where it's at here. And it comes across. My shirt's a little bit tighter than his is, but the point remains the same. And that's why his mic is almost vertical in this frame, right? It's pinched up. It's pinched up. It's not flat like most people wear it with the magnet. It's pinched because it's grabbing the cord. And so the cord is, I just had to unplug mine, but let's say he's got it tucked in right here. And he's sitting down, so it's kind of crunched up a little bit. And when it hits, it pops up, right? So you can see the cord is somewhat similar to where his is. Boom, there's your cord. It pulls from the shockwave, and it grabs the shirt and pulls it up. I'll explain that here in a second. And so this is, the cord is running down through the neck. It pulls the collar up, and the shockwave pulls the rest of the cord with it. That's why it looks like it's a circle. Let me get situated. So that's why it's a circle. Hopefully y'all heard everything. And then it pulls up, right? And so when it pops, this probably pops off. Maybe it doesn't. It doesn't matter. It's kind of irrelevant at this point, but it's just a little DJI mic. He probably has something extremely similar. All that being said, this is angle number 2, and this is what we are looking at right now. Like I said, this looks like body armor, but it doesn't, because it's the cord kind of catching the shockwave. We're going to roll into, I'm not going to let you watch the leak, but basically it's an open wound. That's an exit wound, not an entry. Entry doesn't do that. I would say it's a smaller caliber than a 30-06. A 30-06 would make a much bigger hole. I could probably pull up entry and exit wounds. Let me Google. Right, and so we're looking at something like this. You see, that's I mean, it's obviously not the scale, but this is what we're looking at, right? We have an exit wound. Let's call it 38, 53, 57, 9 mil, probably a 9 mil. I assumed when we were first breaking the story, I assumed it was a closer shot than, these are all pistol rounds, but something along the lines of a 38. They claim rifle. It sounds like a rifle. Doesn't sound like 30-06. Sounds like something smaller, maybe 5.56, maybe. I wouldn't think 7.62. 7.62 is a little bit deeper sound. But all that being said, kind of irrelevant what the actual caliber of the weapon was as we get into it. So we're going to go forward. That's camera 2. We're going to roll to camera 3. Camera 3 is a little bit better quality. We're going to go, like I said, boom, camera 3. This is where camera 3 is being shot from. Back. We're going to take a look at, this is camera 3 going in frame by frame. And so what you'll see is kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. So there's your quote unquote body armor that's not there. And then we're going to roll into, all right. First thing I want you to notice, and I didn't think anything of it the first time around. I want you to watch his earlobe as it goes right there. I don't know if you can see that. It's not a lot, but it's enough. And so then we go on. There's a piece that starts to fly back. This is another piece. I was assuming this was blood, but it's not blood. What this is that earpiece, the same earpiece that we were talking about a second ago. This is the same earpiece, right? I was watching this, boom, boom. See, I thought it was going backwards. It was supposed to be flying away from him. It's flying towards him, right? That's because it's the earpiece. It's attached to him. So when he was hit, most likely, maybe not necessarily in the earpiece, maybe a little bit lower, maybe it hit the jaw. Anyway, the temporary cavity, it causes a temporary cavity. Maybe I can pull that up here. Let me pull up a temporary cavity since we're doing all this. This is a temporary cavity diagram. And so what we're looking at is probably an entry near near the base of the ear or the jaw. And then this would it's at an angle, right? So it's gonna what's called yaw inside. So especially if it hits bone, it's gonna be very, very unpredictable. And so what I'm talking about is the cavity would cause the cord to kind of where's my cord? The cord to kind of pull the shirt, right? And so this is exactly what we're looking at. It would cause the cord to pull a shirt, just like the cord, the wire sends signals. It's gonna catch any kind of reverberations, vibrations, and it's gonna throw itself. And that's exactly what you're seeing here, right? It's throwing itself, right? If you watch, comes out of the ear, goes around, pulls the shirt up, and pulls the rest of the cord with it at the same time, along with that mic that's got it pinned in, right? The mic's pinned in to the shirt or to the cord, wire, whatever you want to call it, irrelevant. Kind of throws itself there. There's your exit wound again, right? And so we're watching this earpiece get thrown. It pulls the shirt, and so there. So what I want you to notice is this exit wound, and there's blood on the shirt. Again, this is evidence too that this is an exit wound, not just because it's this, not just because it's about to gush, but also there's blood on the shirt. And you know, if you have an injury wound, it wouldn't have blood on the shirt going in. This doesn't make sense. Keep going. It kind of falls over. There's the rest of your earpiece right there behind him, and then goes. I'm not going to show you too much of that, but he starts bleeding after that. We're going to go to camera 4 here, just to let me make sure I got everything from there. Earpiece, extra body armor, angle same. All right, and we're going to go to camera angle 4. This camera angle 4 is probably the one that's getting most of the recognition here, or some variation of that. Right, this guy in the white hat. His name is Frank Turk. He put a statement out on Twitter. Maybe I'll find it and pull it up. It's kind of irrelevant. His name's Frank Turk. He's been around a long time. I followed him for a long time. I like a lot of his work. Go check him out if you don't mind his apologetics. Specifically his interview he did with Alex O'Connor. I really like that one. Anyway, Frank Turk, Alex O'Connor. This is Frank Turk. And what's getting a lot of traction here is not only are we going to look at the earpiece again, right? Earpiece flies off. Boom, 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 pulls it with it, and then there goes everything else. What we're going to look at here is a lot of people claiming this is a reflection. It's not a reflection, because of the bullet. It's not a reflection of the bullet. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because, well, the bullet's already there, right? The bullet's already there. There's one frame. It's already there. The reflection would be back towards, like, I don't even know, back towards like here somewhere. That doesn't even make sense, right? If Frank's here, cam 4 is here, Frank's here, it would be over here. Anyway, irrelevant to the point. We're going back to a Final Cut. All right, and this is that just, like I said, it just doesn't make sense. Throw that one away. Throw that in the trash. Anybody says that. Are we going to move on back to camera angle 1 and then finish this up? This is camera angle 1, just pulled from a higher portion of the video from somewhere in this direction or somewhere in this direction. Right? It has to float this way. If we're looking at bullet here, which I think we can confirm given everything else that we've seen. Where is it? Frame here. So if we're looking here, this is camera angle 1 on up. Let's assume this is a bullet. I think it's safe to say that that is the bullet, given this, given this, given this, given everything else. We can go back to Pixelmator Pro, take a look at this thing. And so we have this shot of Charlie Kirk, and then we have the bullet behind him. The bullet behind him is like right here in angle, somewhere in this vicinity. And so what we have to do is we can track that bullet. Boom. We can track about where that bullet is, give or take. And then we can follow that on here. And so this is what I'm going to show you. I think this is a muzzle flash. But I'm going to show you the problem that I have with it here in a second. Let's assume this is a muzzle flash, right? So look top. Whoa, let me pull you up. So look top left up here. You see this white dot. I want you to see this white dot. It's a single frame. It's a single frame white dot. So we can go. So we can go. We can go back, forward. It's a single frame. That's all it is. Single frame. But that single frame is very coincidental, or that's a muzzle flash. And I'm willing to kind of throw it off as coincidental because we already have our answer to kind of direction of the bullet. It's quite literally not possible to do what was done from a straight on shot. It doesn't happen. And I would say there's not two shooters. I would say there's a single shooter. Anyway, given this is a muzzle flash, we're looking top left up here, guys. We go. We're going to count frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, 8 frames. 9, 10 is when he gets hit. So we're going to go 8 frames. It almost looks like a vapor trail here, but the problem is everything's so grainy, right? So if we're looking, we can do vapor trail later, but if we're looking here, vapor trail. I know there's a lot of movement there. So I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying if we're assuming, which I think we are, it's quite possible there is. Anyway, regardless, not really the point. So this is about 8 frames would put you at like 200 yards. The problem is 200 yards would put you way far away. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 80 meters right here. And so if we're looking at this, there's nowhere to have it. And so either there's something off with the frame, or it's just not a muzzle flash, which I'm perfectly fine with saying that it's not. Regardless of if it is or not, we still have basically confirmation he got shot from his right, exit out the left. If I had to guess, I would say he got hit at the base of the skull. I could use my skeleton. He got hit at the base of the skull here, probably, right? And so we're talking, this is immediate incapacitation. He didn't die from blood loss. He died instantly, which would mean it either hit spinal or the base of the brain, or either some portion of the brain that would take everything out. So what I'm saying is the FBI is lying. It's quite literally not possible for the shooter to have been on the roof that they claim he is, along with other inconsistencies across the board. So when we go, I want to look, is most likely entry somewhere in this vicinity. It hits bone and it projects itself outward through the neck. Once it hits bone, it's unpredictable, right? And so we're also, if it's within like 150 yards, 150 yards, you have what's called a yaw, right? So if a bullet's flying, it's going to do like a circular motion. Well, I can't even do it. It's going to rotate itself, trying to stabilize itself in flight. Just Google yaw. You can figure that one out. It's going to try and stabilize itself, and if it's not stabilized, it's going to hit not a smooth target. And so if it's any direction when it hits, it's going to tumble in itself. And so I think that's what we see here. It tumbles out, hits the shirt. And then he starts leaking. An entry wound does not do that. I guess one more thing before I close this thing up. There's a cleaner shot that I couldn't find before doing this video of the bullet being able to be seen against his black shirt. I couldn't find that shot or a possible bullet. It's a blurred line that shows up in a single frame. Anyway, regardless, there's your answer to that. Any questions, drop them in the comments. I might do a follow-up on this. If not, we'll be covering it live.
Experience any pain. We're not going to show parts of the video of what happened to him, and I don't recommend that you watch it because it's quite graphic.
Do not go looking for the video of Charlie Kirk. Please, for the love of God, do not go look for that video.
But I will be generally discussing what happened to better answer the question of whether Charlie knew what happened to him and if he experienced any pain. First, my thoughts and prayers are with Charlie's family and friends. It was September 10th in Orem, Utah. Charlie Kirk was doing one of his famous question and answer rallies at Utah Valley University's campus. The school seems to lean moderate conservative. Charlie had his famous tent set up like he's done countless times at other colleges.
How we doing, Washington State? How we doing, Michigan State? All right, you guys know how it works. If you want to ask a question, we have a line forming here. If you disagree, you can go to the front of the line.
And there were thousands of people eager to hear Charlie Kirk answer questions from the audience.
That's a lot of people, Utah, I'll tell you what. We're going to be here for a couple hours. Get comfortable.
I'm going to the Charlie Kirk event. The parking lot across the street is slammed. This place is going to be packed, and I knew it would be. I don't know if I'm going to ask a question or anything yet. I got a couple written down.
He's been doing this for years, going to different colleges across the country, filming it, putting it on social media, which if you have been at all on social media, I'm sure you have seen.
Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone. You said, well, I'm worried about some laws Congress should pass. I passed. What laws are you talking about? Can you be specific?
I'm sorry, I'm very nervous.
And this event at Utah Valley University was his first of the new school year, to verbally debate mostly young college students who strongly agree or disagree with him and everything in between. Charlie's Turning Point USA team even did this little TikTok skit before the event.
Okay guys, we're back. Did you miss us? Because we missed you.
They were so excited that they were starting off another season of Charlie Kirk talking to students at different colleges.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
His next stop was actually Colorado State University on September 18th, and I was expecting to go because I live just an hour and a half south of CSU. This is more than an assassination on a political figure. It's an assassination on free speech. No matter what you believe, whether you agree with him 100% of the time, disagree, or whatever, he was just peacefully talking.
This is the Old West, right? The Holy Spirit brought me here to challenge you to a gentleman's fist fight right here in front of this whole crowd. Now look, listen.
No.
He just wanted to hear varying opinions, debate topics, and give his opinion.
Young men need a masculine figure around so that they could teach them how to use their violent impulses. A young woman needs a father around so she could see, hopefully, the type of man one day that she will want to marry. So you think that poverty equals crime?
I think that it's highly correlated, and there's a lot of studies.
This is where we disagree. We need more fathers, not less.
Yeah, a lot of people disagreed with him, especially on college campuses. But that's what was so interesting.
Close to being a fascist. Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
No.
Dude, like you... Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
You believe that, like, you are... Oh, shit.
I'm such a bad fascist. I let the people who disagree in open mic to talk to me for 2 hours uninterrupted.
Okay.
I'm an awful fascist.
And he really embraced teaching the youth who disagreed with him that it's okay to disagree. Just calmly talk, and disagreement over politics should never turn violent.
And now I'm not...
What's your hat say?
ICE.
What does that stand for?
Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement. Hey, don't touch it. Have a nice day. Let's have a conversation. I wish we could be here without having my hat thrown off and stuff, but what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have reasonable disagreement where violence is not an option.
Also, it was interesting that he was going on college campuses as a conservative. You know why? Yeah, because colleges have historically been known to be quite liberal.
Campuses are islands of totalitarianism. That's my point, is that campuses, because they're so homogenously to the left.
And he garnered a lot of attention for doing that.
Come up to the mic and call me a racist to my face, or are you an intellectual coward and want to shout it from 30 feet away?
You are a fucking racist who does not have accurate statistics or facts. You are not a gender scientist.
I gotta say, your protesters are kind of weak here, guys.
And some colleges have been known to be socially, academically, and even physically dangerous to conservatives on campus.
I just witnessed Charlie Kirk get assassinated. It was the most awful thing I've ever seen in my life. He shot him in the neck and blood went everywhere. And the worst part of it all was the liberals who were there were cheering.
I've spent a lot of time at many universities, and I've seen how dangerous it can be for conservatives on some college campuses.
When you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against that group.
You think that's not emotional?
Isn't why we had the First Amendment, to try to push our boundaries and to hear things that might make you mildly uncomfortable?
This doesn't make me mildly uncomfortable.
Does it make you very uncomfortable?
It makes me angry.
Like a lot of people, that's what initially drew my attention to Charlie Kirk. I remember thinking, oh no, an openly conservative on a college campus, he's going to get killed. And at the time when I was thinking that, I didn't mean that as hyperbole.
People like me are facing violence, assaults. The left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens. Because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
What do you think would happen to you if they found out you were a conservative at some colleges? Yes, on some college campuses, you would have no friends, your car would be keyed, tires slashed, dorm room trashed, get jumped walking home from the library late at night.
Jay got punched in the face by a professor here.
He saw my hat, he ripped the hat off my head, then he grabbed my head and also slammed it on the road pavement.
And some professors may even try to flunk you out of the school.
How many of you kids here on campus, raise your hand, do you feel as if you're graded down if you come out as a Trump supporter or a conservative? That is the cultural left that will use power to punish a student with their grades because they have different views. That's fascism. That is definitional fascism.
Charlie Kirk actually helped to make college campuses safer for conservative students by showing up anyway, speaking openly, and proving that disagreement is healthy. He modeled how to debate firmly but peacefully, which gave young conservatives the courage to also speak their views without fear.
I thought it was like an improv comedy thing. It looked so ridiculous that I didn't even think it was real.
Well, no, you could see. Look how popular Trump is on your campus. How does that make you feel?
His presence on college campuses forced colleges to confront their own prejudices and remind students that free speech belongs to everyone, not just one political side.
So, I do have a friendship with him. I've gotten to know him over a couple of years.
Disclosing bias.
100% biased. Whether you hate him or love him.
Why would you hate him or love him? He just has a job to do.
Well,
right?
I also love what he did as president for the country.
By normalizing conservative voices in traditionally liberal spaces, he helped create room for a more balanced dialogue and a safer environment for those who once felt silenced.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is more historically accurate than Protestantism. Prove me wrong. Well, you're more aggressive than I would be. First of all, I love Mormons. I've said that forever.
That Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God over all.
Next question!
On that day, when the second questioner was at the microphone and was asking Charlie Kirk questions.
Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
That's when the single shot was fired. It sadly struck Charlie on the left side of his neck at apparently near his C4 or C5 vertebrae and apparently ruptured his left carotid artery and left jugular vein, causing sudden and massive blood loss. The entrance wound was approximately the size of a dime, but appeared much larger in footage of the event due to immediate surrounding bleeding. Although there was no clear footage of the exit wound, they tend to be much larger than the entrance wound in flesh. Do you know why? It's because the force of the bullet creates a temporary cavity, pushing mass along with it as the bullet exits the body. The bullet was fired from a high-powered
30-06 round. That is the 30-06. Takes down a deer very easily.
And given the trajectory of the bullet coming from his left, moving downwards to his right.
This is where he would have been on his podium, and when you spin it around, this is supposedly where the gunman was. You can see here that it was a perfect line of sight.
It's likely that it sadly caused severe spinal cord damage, possibly resulting in instant breathing paralysis due to injury at the C4-C5 level, where the nerves that control the diaphragm are located, often remembered in medicine with the saying, C345 keeps the diaphragm alive. When Charlie was struck, the transfer of energy through his body was apparent, with his body jolting and his white t-shirt flapping. Both of his arms bent at the elbows, moving instantly towards his chest at just past 90-degree angles, sadly followed by him instantly slumping over in his chair to his left, falling to the ground.
UVU in Orem has had an active shooter at the Charlie Kirk event. We're getting several calls. We're trying to get more information.
418 copy. How many injured do we have?
Just one person.
Running away from the UVU campus event with Charlie Kirk. Sounds like he got shot.
Many have speculated his arms moving upward towards his chest is due to a phenomenon known in forensic science as decorticate posturing. However, that's unlikely. Decorticate posturing occurs when higher brain areas like the cerebral hemispheres are badly damaged, cutting off voluntary motor control. With the cortex offline, the red nucleus in the midbrain takes over, flexing the arms while the brainstem reflex pathways extend the legs, producing the classic arms to core look. Since Charlie's cerebrum was apparently not directly harmed, decorticate posturing is unlikely. An immediate loss of blood to the brain does not typically result in immediate decorticate posturing. Instead, loss of blood to the brain would have led to rapid unconsciousness and flaccid collapse. Therefore, his arms instantly moving up like that after being hit was apparently due to an instant involuntary defensive reflex. If someone physically scares you, what do you do even without thinking? Right, hands up in front of your body to defend and protect your head, neck, and core. You may be wondering if severe damage to the spinal cord at C4-C5 caused Charlie to lose consciousness so quickly. No, it was the massive blood loss he incurred so quickly. The jugular vein carries deoxygenated blood down from the brain, while the carotid artery pumps oxygen-rich blood up to the brain. So what happens when both are catastrophically ruptured? Right, the jugular vein drains blood from the brain out of the body, while the carotid artery continuously pumps blood out of the body with each heartbeat. Also, since Charlie likely had an elevated heart rate from exciting the crowd just minutes earlier during his entrance, his rapid pulse would have accelerated the blood loss. When someone suffers a catastrophic wound to the neck that destroys a carotid artery and jugular vein, the mind only has a fleeting window to possibly register what happened. However, in Charlie's case, and after analyzing the footage with a digital timer, he was conscious for no more than 0.4 of a second after impact. Far too fast for his brain to even register what had happened to him. For the brain to register an event, even briefly, it needs at least 1 to 2 seconds of continuous function after the injury. That would be just enough for a flash of shock or awareness of what just happened to them. If someone goes unconscious in less than about 1 second, the brain cannot register the injury or even register that something is very wrong. Psychologically, the experience for Charlie is as if it never happened. No panic, no dread, no realization that he was about to die. Only an abrupt blackout. It was neurologically impossible for him to psychologically realize anything was wrong at all. But what about pain? It takes approximately just 100 milliseconds to register pain in the neck due to its close proximity to the brain and spinal cord. However, his blackout came so fast, his brain never had the opportunity to turn that raw signal into the perception of pain. What might have looked like movement, specifically with his arms moving upwards, was nothing more than an involuntary defensive reflex, not conscious awareness or the result of feeling any pain. He absolutely did not know he was shot, and psychologically was unable to even register that anything catastrophic ever happened. Although Charlie Kirk was taken from us far too soon at only 31 years old with a wife and 2 young children, his passing was essentially instant, and without him experiencing any pain or suffering. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. Our thoughts and prayers are with his friends and family.
Jordan, greatest of all time.
Yeah, Jordan, not even close.
For real?
100%. I could prove it.
Break it down.
How many finals has LeBron lost?
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
I was in the middle of saying, great, did you run a statistical analysis on that? Disagree with him on 1,000 different fronts. That's a human being. That's a father of 2 children. I think about how that boy is not going to have any memories of his dad.
Because the free market is so pervasive.
See, here's the thing. No one's preventing you from living like a socialist. You can go do that. Your worldview would prevent me from living like an entrepreneur or like a capitalist. So inherently, your ideology is built on control of other people's choices.
He, of course, knew that he was in initial physical danger as an open conservative on college campuses.
Yeah, why don't you read the shirt off for everybody?
Oh, my shirt, everybody. My shirt says Charlie Kirk.
Do you have short hair and up teeth? You must be a Nazi.
Well, let's elevate our discussion above personal insults.
But believed that if he showed kindness and openness, he trusted others would respond with the same humanity and not resort to violence.
Everybody, do me a favor. Please be respectful, okay?
I'm a queer person.
Can you tell me what that means? I mean that sincerely.
Have a nice day. Let's have a conversation. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens. Because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
He believed humanity was better than this. And that's what makes this loss so heartbreaking.
How do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing.
I got broads in Atlanta. She took the lean in the family. Credit cards and the scammers. Hitting the licks in the bank. Legacies.